Hello there YouTubers, and welcome to another Star Wars speculation video. Hopefully by now you have seen The Force Awakens at least once, as this video contains big spoilers. If you haven't, add it to Watch Again playlist and come back when you've seen it. I thought The Force Awakens was an amazing movie, and after watching it I found myself thinking there were a number of unanswered questions, and this video shows the ones which I found particularly interesting. Number 1. How did Luke's lightsaber end up in a box? We know that Obi-Wan Kenobi picks up Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber after their battle on Mustafar, and 20 years later he gives this to Anakin's son Luke on Tatooine in the first act of Episode 4 A New Hope. Luke travels to Dagobah, is instructed in the ways of the Force by Master Yoda, and has his first battle with Darth Vader on Bespin. Luke ultimately loses his right hand, and it, along with the lightsaber, plummets through Cloud City and falls out of the bottom. Flash forward 30-something years, and that same lightsaber is given to Rey by the 1,000-year-old pirate Maz Kanata. Finn battles stormtroopers before the movie's climax between Finn, Rey, and Kylo Ren. But where has it been all this time? My theory is that only Luke's hand fell from the bottom of Cloud City, and the lightsaber clanged away into some out-of-sight location to be picked up by someone else before Kanata ended up with it. Who else thinks this is going to be Lando Calrissian? Second question. Rey's parentage. All the signs, the desert planet, her exceptional force sensitivity, the flying skills, being very handy with technology, even the clothes she wears, all suggest Luke Skywalker is her father in my opinion. In the Star Wars Legends expanded universe, Luke did have a son called Ben Skywalker, and Ben's mother was an assassin turned Jedi Master Mara Jade. Perhaps Luke and an unknown character had a daughter, but had to leave her on Jakku. There is a mix of emotions on Luke's face at the end of The Force Awakens in my opinion, of happiness, recognition, sadness and regret. Perhaps having to leave his little girl alone on a backwater planet after beginning her Jedi training, after Kylo Ren turned on Luke and the Jedi students, is the reason for this having to leave her there. Thirdly, what has Luke been doing on this island for all these years? Han Solo stated that Luke went looking for the first Jedi Temple, and presumably this tiny island off the coast of Ireland, just joking, is indeed that. But what has he been doing on his own? Communing with Obi-Wan, Yoda and maybe Anakin? Soul searching following Ren's betrayal? Looking for a long-lost Jedi weapon? Hopefully we'll find out in Episode 8. And lastly, who is Supreme Commander Snoke? These CGI shots show what Snoke looked like in a bit more detail. He looks more human-sized to me and not the 50-foot tall figure we saw in The Force Awakens. But who is he besides being disfigured? You don't hire arguably the best motion performance actor of all time, Andy Serkis, unless you mean business. We know that General Hux and Kylo Ren both report into Snoke as Supreme Commander of the First Order, so he clearly has some power. The rumour flying around the internet currently is that Snoke is actually Darth Plagueis, the Sith Lord who trained Darth Sidious. Yes, Plagueis the Wise, who was murdered in his sleep. But could he have survived having such a mastery of the Force? In the now non-canon novel Darth Plagueis, we learn more about Sidious's apprenticeship under Plagueis, and even if it is no longer canon, I highly recommend that you read it. It's an amazing book. In the book, Plagueis was a Moon, a humanoid yet very tall and slender alien who was ultimately murdered by his apprentice the night before Palpatine was elected Supreme Chancellor. But could he have survived? Personally, I hope not, as I would like to see a new character and look forward rather than backwards in the next two movies. Besides, I think Snoke looks like a member of the Utapau species, just like this handsome fellow. Hopefully we'll find out the answers to all these questions in the next 18 months. What do you think? Have you thought about any of these questions? If you love Star Wars, then I'd love to hear from you too. Take care. Bye bye.